Meeting of December 15, 2020 come to order. My name is Marty Akins. I'm the chairman. We have the vice chair, Mr. Cabeas. Board members, Mr. Chin, Mr. O'Brien, Mr. Radell, Mr. Himmel. Is that it? 5, 6 of us, yep. All right. If I could I have a motion to waive the reading, Mr. Cabeas, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes of the December 1st meeting.
Second. On the motion, seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk. Roll call.
Marty Akins?
Yes.
Mike Cabeas?
Yes.
Charlie O'Brien?
Yes.
Russell Chin?
Yes.
Brian
Radell.
Riddell?
Yes.
And John Himmel?
Yes.
I have one thing here, 143 C Ave. 143 C Ave, ZBA 2060 to January 26th. I have a letter here from the lawyer.
Chairman, I make a motion.
Yep.
In matter is 20-60, Robert Egan for a variance to construct a new home on the premises number 143 C Ave. Make a motion to continue the hearing to January 26th.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, roll call vote.
Marty Akins?
Yes.
Mike Cabeas?
Yes.
Charlie O'Brien?
Yes.
Russell Chin?
Yes.
Brian Riddell?
Yes.
Further on to tonight's old business, ZBA 2062. Harrison Nigel, Christina Montran for a variance special permit floodplain finding to demolish the existing single-family residence and construct 2 townhome residences on the premises numbered 166 Vassal. The applicant or the representative here.
Yes.
You have the floor. Who is it?
Which one is it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rob Fleming.
Oh, Rob. Okay.
I do represent the applicants here.
All right. Why don't you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Again, here this evening with me are my clients, Harrison Nguyen and Christina Tran. Also, our team, our engineer is Patrick Rosengrave of CCR Associates, and our architects, Pat Wellborn and Carlos Caraballo of Off the Grid from Charlestown. They're all here. If you have any questions for them, they're going to present as well. So again, the property is 166 Vassal Street. It's roughly a 5,800 square foot parcel in a Residence B zoning district. It is currently improved by a small 1.5 single family residence, just located to the rear of the back of the property, almost touching lot lines, very that close. It is located in a floodplain. And with respect to that, we have appeared before conservation back in early August 5th, and with an order of conditions having issued from the Conservation Commission on August 29th. I did, with the assistance of Ward Councilor Bill Harris, we did have a remote hearing some time ago, well before conservation as well. So that was a number of months ago. A number of people showed up for that. Not too many, but some did, certainly express their concerns at that meeting. So what my clients are proposing, as the chairman had stated, they are demolishing the existing single-family residence and going to be proposal is to construct 2 new townhomes connected in one building, with using the existing driveway, for both of these units. One unit will enter your unit from the front of the property, and one to the rear. Parking will be out to the rear. So each of these units, they will be townhome style units. Each unit will contain 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. The relief that we're seeking, again, as I mentioned, this is located within a floodplain. We are complying with all the Just got prompted there. We are complying with all the regulations with respect to building in the floodplain, flow through foundations, things of that nature. I will have the architects and engineer kind of talk more about that. This home, again, built in compliance, order conditions just issued with respect to the floodplain. The jurisdiction was coastal storm. And although not required, the city is really requiring that, some steps be made to retain and to control storm water. So Patrick Rosengrave will talk certainly more about that with respect to systems, as well as the proposed driveway, replacing an asphalt driveway with pavers. We will be seeking a finding as well. This is a non-conforming residence for both lot size, the side setbacks, rear setback, as well as the frontage, all non-conforming. It was very important to my clients to build something on this size lot that's comparable to many of the lots in that particular neighborhood, with something that would be in conformance with some of the homes in that area. So that was very important to them. So that's what they're building here. The makeup of the neighborhood is really not unfounded here in the city of Quincy. There are a couple single families. There are a number of three families, or there are some three families and two families, as well as some condominiums directly across the street as well. We are seeking a variance, a couple variances for that front setback. With respect to that, it's very important to this.
Both sides, correct?
I'm sorry?
Side setbacks too?
Yep, side setbacks as well. One of the side setbacks as well, which actually exceeds what's existing today with the home in the back. The front back setback, we were trying to keep in line with the existing homes in that neighborhood. So that's what we had done. We are seeking, minor parking relief. We're providing 4 spaces, 2 spaces for each unit to the rear of the property. About a year and a half ago, there was a proposal made and accepted by the city to add additional space. So we're actually just off by 1 space for parking for the two units. It's 2.25 per unit. But we still do have the 2 spaces per unit. If you have questions for me at this time, more than happy to answer those. Otherwise, I can turn it over to. Let me see who's.
It just seems like there's an awful lot of relief going into something brand new. You got, and it's almost all paved. That whole yard is like, where's any green space left? We're trying to use the existing driveway that runs from front to back of the property right now. There is a little bit of improvement, and we are seeking relief for paving the rear setback. However, the system that will be used is a paver system, so that's going to handle a lot of the storm water. And again, Patrick Rosengrave, our engineer, will get more into how we're going to retain some of that storm water as well. As this board knows, with coastal storm, you're building in compliance. There's no foundation. There's a flow-through foundation, which allows any ocean waters to get under this home and still drain in that fashion. So some people don't understand just that. I'm just wondering why you got a 5-foot setback on the other side of the property when these are brand new homes. I mean, and you got a 32-foot wide townhouse.
Yeah,
down to make it and make some room on the property. I'm just wondering why it seems like you're just asking for a lot of relief. That's just my question.
Well, with respect to lot size per unit, we're not. In the Residence B, you're looking at.
No, but you're asking for pavement in the back. You're asking for sides left, frontage. I mean, it's just a brand new property you're building. I think it could be in more compliance. That's all I'm trying to say.
Understood, and we'll take that under advisement as well. I think they wanted to make a suitable. Residence with the width of it. We have a narrower lot size, like many of them in that area. So that creates some difficulty, and also being able to provide some access to, for parking into the homeowners.
All right, who's next?
So I see Patricia and Carlos, who are architects from Off the Grid. I'll let them say a few words with respect to the proposed townhomes
All right,
themselves.
one second. Is there anyone on the board have any questions, Mr. Fleming? Right now?
Don't have any questions at this time.
Not at this time.
I'm not yet. What's the completed square footage here, Attorney Fleming?
I'll have our architects comment on that. Patricia Wellborn, if you could unmute her.
That's all right. I can wait. It's not
We
ridiculous.
need people to take a note that's going to speak, Mr. Cabeas, if you could.
Sure. Are they there?
I don't know. Who's speaking?
Patricia Wellborn, Carlos and Patricia are there together.
Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
All right, hold on 1 minute, if you could.
Yeah, we're
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I-
You have the floor.
Okay, you had asked a question about total square footage.
The total square footage is 1,800
The total square footage is 1,800
per floor.
per floor.
Wait. So it's pretty much 900 square foot per floor per unit. So, thank you.
No, it's 1,800 per floor, correct?
It's,
Yeah, it's true.
Including the 2 units. You know, the footprint or the plate is 1,800 and then 1,800.
more or less. Yeah.
And then what do you have for attic space up there?
So we don't have pretty much. We don't have the center. The center of the attic, as you can see, Mr. Fleming. If you can, the floor plans.
Yeah, let me share some docs with the
Yeah,
board.
thank you very much.
We lowered the
Just
profile.
the living space there is 1,800 plus what's living on the third floor.
Now, what I'm saying is we've taken the angle of the roof down so that it doesn't count.
It's only down. It's only a 3 feet corridor by 50
Okay.
feet high, but the rest is lower than 4 feet.
All right,
So the
Right.
space on the attic is being used as just a storage, really
okay, good.
access to the attic.
Thank you.
So, like Mr. Fleming says, we're trying to have a really colonial style and trying to mimic the local of that street and maintain that and respect the design in that area. So, like Mr. Fleming said, it's 2 floor. The first floor will be living space, and second floor will be the 3 bathrooms.
Bedrooms.
And so, as you can see, there are so many windows at the attic, but those are not. It's just more architectural fixture. That's it. Since you can see, Mr. Fleming, you can put the elevations of the section, please.
Section
Yes.
next.
The next one.
What is it?
The section of the attic.
Yes.
Yeah, there you
You
can
see,
see it.
I mean, the section of the attic is really low. It's a really low ceiling. It's less than 4 feet on the window side. The higher feet is to the center, which is 5 feet, but it's only a corridor. So barely you can use it as a livable space. It's just the purpose of this attic is only for storage. So in replace of basement, since we don't have a basement at this place, it's a pure storage use only, nothing else. It's gonna have an access, access, no stair, just
The hatch,
the hatch access
pull down the stair.
into the attic size. So, like Mr. Fleming said, it's gonna be. We haven't designed yet, but we can discuss this. It's gonna be sitting on foundation with some grill, so allow the water go through under the house. It's not showing here, or we
Well,
can do piles. Right?
Yeah, I can talk to that. Our engineer is going to look at either piles, so it's completely floating, or concrete wall with those vent flaps, so that it allows the water to flow through underneath the building and regulates the building.
Correct. And about the parking, the parking area and the side, the driveway, we're planning to remove the asphalt and install
Perforated.
perforated materials like a concrete that allow absorb the water into the space rather than run off into the street. those are design aspects we have taken consideration in terms of trying to keep the water as much on the lot as acting right now. So
What do you have at the front of the building? What's on the building?
on the front of the building,
Stucco. Right?
right now, for now, it's a stucco. Client would like to achieve and have a stucco as a kind of finish, in a concrete pavement, so in asphalt
What are you putting on the building itself?
building. So on the ceiling, I mean, the roof gonna be
No, the sides of the front of the building, is that stucco
Well,
or is
it's all
that's a
stucco,
stucco,
yeah.
all stucco all around.
Smooth stucco.
stucco all the way? Okay.
Yes, it's stucco all the way. So can you, Mr. Fleming, if you can go on the parking floor plan so we can show the parking area? Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. No, that's not the latest one, but we have also designated on the parking area. You see what that says 37 feet 1? We have assigned that area to be the area for the trash storage and the snow storage on that side of the. That's not the latest floor plan, but yes, we have assigned storage snow when the snow is collected and put it on the corner, and also the trash on that area which says 37-1.
What's not right on that one that you have? I don't know.
And you want to share your screen?
I can't.
Can't.
No. So let me out.
Just a second.
I'm trying to see what the real.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to have the engineer kind of speak to a lot of these kind of exterior areas. Patrick, I don't.
All right, you got it, Ms. Fleming. That's
Yeah.
fine. All right.
Patrick, are you there? I don't see him.
Patrick, you here?
Patrick Rosengrave.
Yeah. Pat? No. All right.
Yeah.
You want to have them go through it then?
No, he's there.
Is he there?
Is Pat Rosen? Patrick, try that one.
Not mute himself.
Patrick,
Patrick, are you in there? Yeah, Patrick is on the line. You need to.
Patrick is there.
gotta shut off that phone.
Yeah, sorry, Patrick is on the line.
All right,
He needs to unmute himself.
Unmute himself.
he's gotta unmute himself. He's muted. He's called in, he's muted. You got him unmuted?
Text him.
You want me?
Technical difficulties.
Turn down your volume on your computer if you want.
Carlos is texting him.
See the 9402?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yes?
Yep, we got you.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Patrick.
good. Okay, good.
Mark, swear him in.
Can you put up my drawing, the latest drawing?
Hold on 1 second, folks. Everybody, Patrick, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, do you
ahead.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Chairman and board members, yes, I did the engineering on this. It's in the floodplain. The floodplain elevation there is elevation 12. And we've set the first floor at elevation 13.2, which is 1 foot 2 inches above the floodplain. It's going to be a regular concrete foundation with flow-through panels, which are shown on the drawing, 4 of them. I talked to engineering about this, about how we're going to deal with the roof water and the water on the drive. And they require 4 dry wells, which are shown on the latest drawing, one in each corner of the house. These are underground storage to take the roof water, to store it and send it into the ground, dissipate it into the ground. So that's going to deal with the roof water. The water on the drive, the pavers are permeable pavers set on 12 inches of gravel, so the water is going to flow through that. So we're not going to generate any runoff water from the building or the drive.
Yeah.
Let me see. The utilities, the underground utilities are there. We propose to use the existing, except we're going to examine the sewer with a camera to see if it's suitable. If not, we'll replace it. I think if there are any questions, I can take questions.
Yeah, on that left side where the parking is, it's just for, I'm hearing storage now, just storage for snow?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Because the architect can deal with that. I think what he's trying to do is, when there's a snowstorm, push the snow into that area. That's a
Okay.
grass. That's a grass area.
Okay. Any questions of board members?
I don't have any.
No, not at this time.
Can you take that screen down, John, please? Mr. Cabeas,
Yes, sir.
any questions?
I do not have any questions.
Mr. Chin,
No, no questions.
Mr. O'Brien,
Not at this time.
Mr. Radell?
I'm good for now.
All right, thank you. Okay, I have we'll call that part of the hearing closed. I have a letter here from the DPW. Now, let me do this first. Anyone in favor? Anyone speak in favor? Is the council on the line? Mr. Harris? Mr. Harris?
They are going to have to tell me the virtual hand raise.
Give me a hand raise, Mr. Harris, if you're on.
Turn the screen on, send a chat.
Do something. Let me know you're around. All right, I'll get back to him. He might be on in a minute. Busy right now. Is there anyone like to speak in favor? Raise your hand. Give us a wave, something. Anyone? Second call?
Virtual hand raise is in the participant list, or if you're calling in, the *9.
Is there anyone want to speak in favor? Call that part of the hearing closed. I have a letter here from the DPW dated October 23rd, 2020, 166 Bassel Street, case number ZBA 2062. We have reviewed the project, above project, reference comments are as follows. Install curb, stop valve and box on the sidewalk for water service. 2, install clean out the sewer service pipe. 3, upon completion of project, as-built plans showing all utilities, building footprints, reference bounds, benchmarks, defining total site, facilities, right-of-way needs to be submitted, and an elevation certificate is also required. All that part of the hearing closed. Is there anyone opposed or undecided? Opposed or undecided? First call. Second call. Anyone? Virtual raise? John Rutherford.
All right, cats tonight?
John, you're muted. John, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
You're up, John. Thank you, Mr. Bill.
That was a good presentation by Attorney Fleming. It looks like a nice building. I'm not going to say that I'm against the proposal, but I would like to say that I think it is a little bit large. I think it's a little bit encroaching. I think those 5 feet that's to the left, my idea is why not make it a little bit higher and put that living space up on that 3rd floor and shrink the building down a little bit so we can get maybe 8-9 feet, because the other property to the left of that also looks like that's only about 5 feet. So I don't really like building buildings together that are too close together when we're building new ones. It's one about the ones that we already had. I do like the pavers, how that's going to help with the flooding, but if we could shrink the footprint a little bit, you could still get some more, square footage. You'd only have to raise the top up by a couple feet, and, they could still get what they want. It's a very big house for that lot. What I do like about the project, one of the things I'm looking for is new growth. And, certainly we're going to take a property that's only assessed for a little bit less than 300,000. That's going to be assessed for now, I'm going to say 1.5 million dollars. So we're going to get the new growth. There's a giant apartment building across the street. Next door, it seems like there's an investor. There's a 2-family next door. So I don't think it's a neighborhood issue. I just think it's a fire issue, and we don't want that house too close. Because also on the other side, they're using those 13 feet for the driveway, which technically you're really not supposed to do either. So we're giving them a break on the right side where they're putting the driveway. On the left side, let's come a little bit closer in, and
right.
That would make me happy. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Is there anyone else? Polls are undecided. All part of the hearing closed. My comments, I think it's too big for the lot. I think we gotta do something. As I said earlier, it's 5 feet. I just don't think that's what we're here. You got the whole thing, you got pavers throughout the whole place too, all the way in backyard. It's just, to me, it's too big. That's just my comments. Mr. Cabeas, any comments?
I agree with you, Mr. Chairman, and I think it is too big. I mean, that's really 5 feet is not much of anything.
That's a
And there is a
5,800
driveway
square.
on the other side. It's too big, I think.
Mr. Chin,
I agree with you. 5 feet is too little for my preference. I think if they can shrink that side a little bit, I'd probably be in favor of the structure.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yeah, the thing of it is it's almost 70 feet long on a 100-foot lot. I think it's just too long for that. If you look at the houses in that neighborhood, there's all of them have backyards in them. A lot of them have garages. Some of them are higher up than there, but I think the length of size, it's too dominant of a structure for that small site. Obviously, it's gigantic compared to what's in there now, but I still think it's just too long and too big.
Mr. Radell?
Rarely the board is in agreement with Mr. Rotafeld.
Oh, I think I spoke a lot before Mr. Rotafeld.
I mean, that was my original. When I looked at it, I was like, how big is this building? And 5,800 square feet, 3,600 square feet of living area on what is a postage stamp. I don't think it stands out in the neighborhood. But to your point, Marty, like we're building something new here. Like let's try and find some opportunity here to make the building fit just a little bit better. Let's just be a little bit better. So I agree with the board.
I mean, they could build a 24 wide building and have their footage. I just, it's like there's no green space on that lot. There really isn't. It's like,
and that, I mean, you go up and down Vassal Street, and there's not like every lot is on top of each other, and I get that. But there's another single family home that's a couple doors down that's gonna, they're gonna be right back in front of us doing the exact same thing. It's just a lot of house for a little land.
Right. So, I mean, what are we looking at? Are we looking at a 24-foot wide house? Is that what we're looking at? Let them keep the distance? I don't know. Any suggestions? Yeah, I don't want them to come back and then say no again. Let's kind of tell them what direction we're kind of looking at.
I mean, I personally don't hate, I mean, they're having to raise out of the floodplain. I get that, so I think that I understand having a little bit more living space up top. I mean, I think a little bit of either a little bit of a smaller house or use some vertical, opportunity here. I didn't see the exact, full height. Attorney Fleming, it seemed like you had a little bit of room there.
I think we do. I mean, I think we if we were going to expand the living area to that third floor, which would be a nice area, certainly considering where it's located as well, we would certainly request relief for height. I don't think we'd want to go, too far.
Yeah, nothing
as
crazy.
Opposed to the other properties next, on either side of it. But I think if we could make up a little room, living space, if we're going to shrink the footprint, I'd like to be able to consult the architects and the engineer and ask for more time from this board to continue this to a later date so we can kind of sit down, hash this out. I'm an understanding, get this footprint down a little bit Is there an objection to creating living space in that third area, though?
You know, I mean, and you get, these are two big townhouses. You're building on a 5,800 square foot lot, and you're taking everything away. Me personally, I think you can build two decent sized homes there. Maybe you don't need 3 bedrooms home. Maybe if you want on 5,800 square feet like that, maybe you want two bedroom homes and shrink it down a little bit. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think you need, I get it, but you know, you're asking for a lot for a lot that you're already 1,000 foot short. So
I know I would like to see 2 bedrooms as opposed to 3.
and just shrink the house a little bit.
Yeah.
And you got 2 nice, decent units. Everything's brand new, nice homes. And you know, the more bedrooms you're putting in there, you only got 4 parking spaces on that lot. You know, so I mean, there's just too much. You're asking for too much for that lot. I mean, you can't have two bedrooms with a 32 to a 24 foot house, and everything works for you. And you got and the kids got some room in the yard to play in the sides, and then maybe a little bit in the back. I don't know.
I mean, just for perspective, the building next door to you is 20. You know, it's about 2,400 square feet.
Yep.
You know, you're asking for us to give you 1,200 square feet more.
No, understood. I'd like to defer to the architect to see how much time they would need so we know to continue this to a later date.
February, January 26th, February
9th or 23rd,
February 9th.
or January 26th.
February 9th?
What day? February?
February 9th?
February 9th.
Yes, that's fine. That's
Does that
fine.
work?
All right, very good. Could I have a motion, please, Mr. Bass?
Chairman, matter number 20-62, Harrison Way in Christina Montran for a variance special permit floodplain finding to diminish the existing single-family resident and construct 2 townhomes residences on the premises number 166 Vassal Street. I make a motion to continue the hearing to February 9th.
Second.
Roll call?
Marty Aiken,
Yes.
Michael Bayes,
Yes.
Charlie O'Brien,
Yes.
Russell Chin,
Yes.
Brian Riddell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, further on to tonight. Okay. ZBA 2063. Mitchell Arrow Gallic for variance to construct a side yard deck on the premise number 76 Watkins. Is there a representative of the applicant here?
The applicant is here.
Okay, you have the floor. Let's tell us what you want to do there.
Do I need to be sworn in?
Yes, Mr. Bass.
Okay.
Thank you.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, to help you God.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay. May I share my screen, sir?
Sure.
Okay. Thank
bet.
you.
You got it.
Okay, so. Okay. So this is Mitchell Clark. I live in 76 Watkins Street. And our proposal is to build a side yard porch that will be attached to the existing dwelling. And then based on the zoning ordinance, it says that in Residence A district, buildings should be set back so as to conform to the average alignment of dwellings already erected on the same side of the street within 300 feet on each side of the lot, except that no building shall be set back less than 25 feet and no building shall be set back more than 55 feet. And what we're asking here is that instead of doing a setback, we will be allowed to build the side deck, which will be aligned to the existing building. And the existing building that we have right now, which is the house, is already in alignment with the rest of the houses within 300 feet of each side of the lot.
Now that's only 10 feet, correct? Coming off this.
Correct. Yeah.
And then you're going to have a 470 foot deck, correct?
We will have a 10 by 47 attached to the side of the house.
Yeah, 470 square foot of deck, right?
Yep.
Any questions of the board?
I have none.
Nope.
And that will be added. So if this is the house, that will be added on this side.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's towards the lot where they, for the clams, right? Okay.
Correct. Yeah,
Any-
we have plenty of
Can I
space.
get my screen back here? Yeah, you
Okay.
done sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Cabeas,
Yes,
any questions?
I don't.
Okay, Mr. Chin?
Are you matching up the final appearance to go with the front deck instead of stairs?
Yes, not with the stairs, but will be at the side of the house. So
Just
No,
will-
I mean, in terms of the coloration, the painting, the materials, are you going to match up with the front?
yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yep,
Right.
everything will be matched up. Yep.
And how high off the ground are you going with this deck?
How high is the thing? It will be aligned with the. There is a deck at the back that will be aligned with that deck at the back. I just don't have the measurement right now. So if you can see here, there is a deck at the back that will be aligned there.
Approximately 5 feet.
Is it about 5 feet? Yeah, high. What, 4?
Whatever the scale.
About 7 feet high.
7 feet off the ground?
Yeah, 7 feet off the ground, and we'll be putting like how do you call that? Pebbles.
Crushed stone?
What's
Yeah.
going-
Yep, crushed stone under the deck.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. O'Brien,
No questions at this time, thank you.
Mr. Radell?
I got none.
Okay. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor? Anyone want to speak in favor?
Virtual hand raised, John Roseville.
I basically, I swear to tell the truth, John Rutherford, 62.
You already sworn in, John. Go ahead.
I just always there.
You're already set. Go ahead, buddy.
My question is, what sort of material is the deck being made out of?
It will be out of how do you call that? Pressure treated wood, just like what you have in the front and in the back.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it's going to be like Trex or composite stuff, or
No.
just standard pressure treated wood.
Pressure treated.
It's using pressure treated wood.
I mean, for such a large deck, I'd be more in favor of it if it was made of the nicer Decker material. But other than that, I'm not, opposed to it. I mean, this would prevent an addition being put on that side of the house. That's one good thing I see about it. So, other than that, I'm sort of neutral. Thank you.
Thank
John,
you.
wood's probably stronger than composite, believe it or not.
Okay, well, I don't know what I'm talking about then. Thank you.
Is there
He admitted
anyone else? Anyone else? Is there anyone else like to speak in favor? Second call. Anyone? Raise your hand. Star 9. Give us a hand wave. Anybody? Last call. Call that part of the hearing closed. I have a letter here from the DPW. October 23rd, 2020, 76 Walken Street, case number ZBA 2063. We have reviewed the above referenced project and have no comments. Is there anyone opposed or undecided? Opposed or undecided? First call. Anyone? Hand raised, something? Second call. Text us, someone we missed. Do something, nothing. Okay, third call closed. I'll be voting in favor.
I'll be voting in favor too. Yes.
Mr. Chin,
I'm in favor.
comments? Mr. O'Brien, comments?
No comments. I'll be voting in favor.
Mr. Riedel?
In favor.
Could I have a motion, please, Mr.
Yes,
Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, amendment number 20-63, Michelle Garlick for a variance to construct a side yard deck on the premises of 76 Watkins Street. I make a motion to grant the variance.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, could I have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Yes. Martin Aiken?
Yes.
Michael Vaya?
Yes.
Charlie O'Brien?
Yes.
Tim Russell?
Yes.
Brian Riddell?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Further
you so
from the-
much.
business. We got 4 more cases left. Let's do, 1 or 2 more, and then we can swap out 1 more anyway. On the new business, ZBA case number 2035, 1117 Newbury Street LLC for a variance special permit floodplain special permit finding construct 5-story 18-unit residential building the premises number 1117 Newbury Street. Is the applicant or representative here?
Mr. Chairman, good evening. Christopher Harrington representing Michael Boyce, the owner of 11 to 17 Newbury Street.
You have the floor, Counselor.
Thank you. I'd like to share the screen.
Yeah, we'll get you.
We'll start with the application.
You're up. Screen's yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this application, as you said, it's a special permit for multifamily and business C zone, special permit for floodplain area, and also some minor dimensional variances. If you notice on our ZBA application, on the dimensional table, the biggest variance that we're asking for is that in the footnote to the zoning ordinance, it says that if you get a special permit in business C, you should have a 42,000 square foot lot.
Yeah.
We obviously don't have a lot that big.
Right.
That footnote also says that you need 500 square feet of land per unit.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, if you did have a 42,000 square foot lot, you could potentially have an 84 unit building by right in business C. So although our lot is much smaller than 42,000 square feet, our building is also proportionately smaller to fit on this piece of property. We have a 9,900 square foot lot. You see that the maximum FAR is 3.5. Our FAR is 1.95, which is only about 56% of the maximum that's allowed by the footnote. We have a 5-story building, 6 stories is allowed. We have 550 square feet of land per unit, which is more than what's required. And we have 90 feet of frontage. We also have our existing building, the front and side setbacks is 7.9 feet, 4 feet, and 5.3 feet. We're improving all of those setbacks with this new building to have a 10-foot setback all the way around the whole property. We are asking for minor dimensional relief because 11.25 is what's required. That's 1/4 the height of the building.
Mm-hmm.
We have 169 square feet of green space per unit, which is more than what's required by the ordinance. We have 28 parking spaces, which is also more than what's required in the ordinance. With respect to our parking spaces, they're all inside the building. They are all 9 by 18. They all have 24-foot access turning aisle in between them, so we're not looking for any kind of relief for the layout of these spaces, and they all work. Cars can get in and out of all of these spaces without having to do multiple 3-point turns. Our parking setbacks all exceed the 10 feet minimum, and we have 18 units on the property where 20 would be allowed using the 500 square feet per unit. I'm also going to like to put up another plan for you to look at. This is these are our architectural.
Yeah.
These are our architectural plans. I know that our architect Alita is on the line. I'm sure that she'll speak about the building in a minute, but I just wanted to go through very quickly what this project looks like compared to what it was before. We originally started with a building that was 24 units, 6 stories, and we had 5-foot building setbacks all around. So what we have after going through site plan review is we now have 10-foot setbacks all around the building, as well as new landscaping, which there is no landscaping on this property now. And we've taken an entire floor off the building, as well as reducing 6 units based on what was discussed with our site plan review. So the way the building is laid out is that this screen that you're looking at right here is the lowest level. Newbury Street is almost exactly 1 story higher than Densmore. So the topography of the land is perfect to have two levels of parking and to be able to have a driveway coming in from Newbury as well as a driveway from Densmore. So this is the Densmore Street side. This is the back of the building. Cars are able to pull in, and then we have parking spaces. Again, they're all 9x18. You have a 24-foot aisle in between, so it's easy for people to back in, pull in, and back out of their spaces. This is the second level of parking with the door off of Newbury Street. And this is laid out exactly the same way. All the spaces are 9x18, 24-foot aisle in the middle, so it's easy for the cars to get in and out of their spaces. This is just a typical floor of units, of what the units look like, and this is what the building would look like on Newbury Street. As I mentioned, we have we're calling it a 5-story building. It's 4 stories on Newbury Street. It's 5 stories on Densmore because of the change in elevation, and we're calling it a 5-story building. This is what it would look like on the back, and these are the side elevations, which don't really mean all that much because you really won't see the sides of the buildings. These views that we have on our final page here is right here in this top left picture is the existing condominium building that's built right next to the Adams Inn. That's that building right there. Our building is right here in the middle, and it's very, very similar height, so it won't stand out or be significantly different or higher than that building that's there right now. This building that you're seeing right here with the black end on it right here, there's a 72-unit apartment building approved for that site, 6-story building. We just put that building onto this this view so that you'd have an idea of what it looked like, assuming that that building also gets built. On the left, on the bottom, this right next to us here is Brian's Kennels, the back of their building on Densmore Street. And then it shows the back side of our building right behind it, and you can see across the street, it's very similar in height and size to the building that's on the other side of Densmore Street. And then finally, this view on the right-hand side is what you might see if you were coming across the Neponset River Bridge, coming from Boston and driving into the city. So that's what the building looks like, and this is our landscaping plan for the project. Right now, there is no green space on this property at all. It's all building and it's all asphalt and parking. And so this will be a huge improvement over what's there right now. We got a 10-foot ribbon of green space all around. The other thing I'd like to point out is that in the front of the building, you can see there's a sidewalk here. That sidewalk is actually on our property. It's not on the street. So Newbury Street is a 35-foot public way. It's been that way for 150 years. A standard street in Quincy is 40 feet. So by us putting this 5-foot sidewalk on our property, we're essentially improving Newbury Street and making it the same width that a standard width street would be. Right next to this building on the left-hand side is that 72-unit apartment building that I mentioned. Assuming that that building gets built, the special permit for that building also has the exact same feature. It has the 5-foot sidewalk running the entire length of the property all the way down to the end of the street. And that sidewalk is also on the land that's owned by that property, which will improve Newbury Street, making it wider and making the traffic flow better on that street. I'd also like to point out to you that our civil engineer, Chi Mann, is also here with us. This project has been to the planning board, site plan review. It was vetted over about a 9 to 10 month period. As I said, we reduced the project from 24 units to 18. We reduced the height from 6 stories to 5. We improved all of the building setbacks, hit a 10 feet all around it. and designed it with a stormwater management system that works. So at this point, we have approval from the planning board for site plan review. We also have approval from the Conservation Commission for the flood zone. And we're here this evening to ask you to approve the special permits and the minor dimensional relief that we've requested in our application. Chi Mann, I can see, is on the screen here with me right now. Chi, if you'd like to, I can put your plans up, or you can do it yourself if you want to share the screen. Just describe your stormwater management system for the board, please.
Yes. If I can share my screen. I can.
Yeah, can you?
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Mann, do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
yes, I do.
Thank you.
Again, the site is 9,900 square feet. As Mr. Harrington mentioned, the site presently is 100% impervious with roof and pavement. And the site is going to be improved by more than 2,000 square feet of green space. The site is within the flood zone, so the very ground floor elevations is going to the flood elevation is at AE10, which is the NAVD datum, 88 datum. Elevation 10, which convert to Quincy base, is around 16.6. Our first floor elevation, which is on the Densmore side, is going to be 15.3. So the building is going to be having full flow-throughable vent for in the event of flooding, the flood water can come in and out of the ground floor. And the first floor is going to be on 25, which is the second level of the parking will be, and the lobby space will be much up higher than the flood elevations. And the unit is on another floor up, so the living space is way up high. The project itself, because of reducing the impervious, the layout itself is going to be improving green space and reducing runoff. And on our project design, we actually do a step further. We have a stormwater management system that take on all the roof runoff and put into Caltech Galley system. This is 12 unit of Caltech 150. And this system is going to be buried under the garage, the first level garage, indoor, underground, and it will take on all the roof runoff. And for infiltrations, any overflow will go into the city system on the street. And the building also served by city utilities with water and fire protections on the Densmore Street side. And we have a sanitary connections, actually a fourth main to connect on the Newbury Street side. And if I can go to, just want to show you the table here. We demonstrate with our stormwater management system, 210, 25, and 100 years storm. We are addressed. We make a big improvement using the runoff peak rate of discharge and also the volume running off to the city street.
Very good. Thank you. Is there any questions to the board? I don't have any right now.
I don't have any.
Not at this time.
No questions.
I got a few. I thought we talked about this before. Maybe we did, Counselor. I don't know if we were ever presented. I just remember looking at the plans with the garage. What did planning, recommend anything regarding the turning on and off there? I mean, I know it gets a little messy at the end of that road with regards to people coming off the Neponset Bridge and the stop sign, and I bring my dog to Brian's kennel, so I know I've come close a few times. Is there anything that we're doing down there to try and alleviate that?
The biggest improvement is the sidewalk on Newbury Street. Right now, Newbury Street it's a public way that has no sidewalks on either side. So putting a sidewalk in is a big improvement. And as far as the end of the street, I believe that there's a stop sign there, and I really don't think there's anything more they can do than have a stop sign. When the Neponset River Bridge was rebuilt not long ago, the state redesigned that whole intersection in front of Cathay Pacific and in front of the new office building on Hancock Street. And I think that they made whatever changes could be made to that intersection to make it work properly, and they took it as far as it could possibly go. So yeah, the people who live here, if they want to park if they're parking in the lowest level of the building, when they come home from work at night, the easiest thing for them to do would be to go under the bridge, loop around, and come up and be able to turn right into Densmore Street and have an easy time of it. And it would probably be easier for the people, even if they want to pull onto the Newbury Street side, to go underneath and around and come around past the Adams Inn, because that's also easy to get into the property.
And you're like, if I pull in on the Dinsmore side, I only have access to that lower level. If I pull in on the Newbury Street side, I only have access to the Newbury level. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yep. And then
so by having separate garage doors on each street, it takes advantage of the topography, which is one of the exactly the reason why we did it. But it works to it separates the traffic created by this building. It separates the traffic onto the two streets, so that neither street bears 100% of the traffic impact from the building.
Sure. Last question: condos or apartments?
They're being proposed as apartments.
Okay.
So we're proposing to have 18 units with 2 units of affordable housing for the Affordable Housing Trust Committee.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Okay. Is there anyone who'd like to speak in favor? Anyone want to speak in favor? Is there anyone here? John Rodefeld, you're up. Still on the road.
Thank you very much, John Rodefeld, 62 Grenwall Road. I think this is new growth. This is tremendous. 17 new units, especially a couple affordable units there. I remember this project from before, so I think I was in support of it when it was bigger. So it's a little bit smaller. So this definitely has my stamp of approval. I am a little bit disappointed the way I look at it, though, as apartment buildings compared to condos. We're not going to get the new growth exactly that I would like if it was condos. So let's just make sure. What I would like to see in the city is that condos and apartment buildings should be assessed basically the same amount. A perfect example is in West Squantum Street, where Mike Caveas lives. Those two places, one's an apartment and one's condos, and when you add up all the units, they don't always equal. So as long as things are assessed properly, I'm fine with the new development going on in Quincy. We need new growth to pay for the taxes, and we need new growth. What I'm worried about is what we have to make sure is that we have to make sure the Amazon people, the UPS people, and the FedEx people, they're not making illegal turns out of there. Because the future is people really aren't driving anymore. And it's all about, when I look out my window, I see the UPS trucks and the FedEx trucks backing into my driveway, making U-turns, doing all things they're not supposed to be doing. So it's not the people I worry about, it's the corporations that I worry about. So I think the Quincy police do a good job, and we just got to give people tickets if they're not doing the right thing over there. Thank you very much.
Hey, John, I moved.
About
15 years ago.
I moved last night. Is there anyone else who wants to speak in favor? Do you have anything from the?
I don't have anything.
No, okay. Second call. Anyone else? Third call. Call it part. Hearing closed. Nothing from the DPW.
Nothing from the DPW.
Oh. All right. Is there anyone opposed or undecided? Opposed or undecided?
You got somebody waving down there, Pam.
Okay, what's your name? You gotta unmute yourself. Pam, unmute.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Mr. Cabeas, could you swear him in, please?
Yes, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
You have the floor.
Name and address for the record, please. Sure. My name is Brian Morse, and I own Brian's Kennels and am also representing Hancock Animal Hospital. And I'm not opposed to this at all, but I just want to make sure that the planning board had made a condition that we would work out language to make people understand that there are dogs next door that will be making noise. Because if people move in there, they don't understand that it's going to create all kinds of chaos. And we're going to get a lot of calls to the city and everybody else. So I just was wondering if this condition number 14 that the planning board set forth also applies to the zoning.
Yeah.
And if so, I would like it somehow.
Hank, the lease agreement, all about that, the dog kennel next door.
Yeah, Mr. Morse asked us, very reasonable request. His kennel's been there for 30, 40, 50 years.
50 years.
And 50 years, and he said, I want, if it's a rental building, if it's apartments, I want people in their leases to know that there's a kennel next door, that dogs make noise, that there's going to be barking, and we said we would do that. And we also committed to him that if it does become a condominium building, that we'll put language in the master deed as well as the purchase and sale agreements to condo owners that they're on notice that the kennel's there and that and that dogs make noise.
You'll have to put in.
Yeah, right now we've got a condition in the planning board's the planning board approval for the project. They put in a special condition
Number 14.
saying that we'll include language in the leases and in the condominium docs about the kennel. And
They'll have to initiate.
we have to do that to comply with the planning board's condition.
All right, great. Is there anyone else opposed or undecided? Anyone want to speak? Second call? Third call? Call up part of hearing closed. I like they get some green space in there and everything with the flow throughs, and they're going to have some nice stuff down there and increase the value of all those properties down there. And I know it is a rental. I'll still be voting in favor.
Yes, I'll be voting in favor too, Mr. Chairman. This project, gee, I almost forgot about it. It's been such a long haul through planning board. I'll be voting in favor.
Chin?
It's a well-designed building. It's a good use of that space. I see the roof as a golden opportunity for some solar gain if Mr. Mann and the owners would be inclined at some point to consider that. But I'm in favor.
Thank you. Mr. O'Brien?
With the building down the end of Newbury Street is a great improvement to that whole area down there, and hopefully that area will continue with nice looking development and nice views of the river. I'll be voting in favor.
Thank you. And Mr. Radell?
Yeah, I'm in favor. Just to reiterate, the owner of the adjacent building, do we need to write that in as we're recorded versus site plans not?
It's in there. It's going to be in there, and each rental lease will have that, and they'll have to initial it with the lease.
Okay, but we don't need to do anything on that.
No, it's in the plan.
Clarification.
I think it's 14, number 14.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at uses of properties, and I like the two driveways, I think, we do have a potential issue down there with that stop sign, but, that's for T-PAL to work out at some point down the road, I guess. I'll be in favor.
Is Councilor Harris around? Is he here?
That's Ward 3, by the way, I believe.
Yeah.
Charles Phelan?
No, that would be Ian Kane.
Oh. Where is it, on Woodbury Street? Yeah, I thought that was 12, 6.
It cuts off right across the street. It's the other side.
Right.
Oh, all right. So much for that. Ian Kane in there, is he? No? All right. Could I have a motion, Mr. Cabeas, and we can have a roll call vote?
Yes, in matter number 20-35, 1117 Newberry Street LLC for a variance special permit flood plan, special permit and finding to construct a new 5-story 18-unit residential building on the premises numbered 11-17 Newberry Street. I make a motion to grant the relief requested.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, can I have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk?
Yes. Martin Akins?
Yes.
Michael Cabeas?
Yes.
Charlie O'Brien?
Uh-huh.
Russell Chin?
Yes.
Brian Riddell?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone want to sit out? And Mr. Himmel can jump in.
I'll sit out.
All right, Charlie, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right.
Happy holidays, Charlie. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, all right? I'll give you all a call tomorrow.
Yep.
Good.
All right, thanks. ZBA 2065. Sheila Smith for finding to reconstruct and extend the existing non-conforming single-family residence on the premise number 107, 111, Dorchester Street. The applicant and representative, Councilor Harrington, I believe, isn't it? Unmute yourself there, Chris.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, for the record, Christopher Harrington. I represent Sheila and Dan Smith, who are the owners of the house at 111 Dorchester Street. This, as you said, this is an application for a finding to allow an existing non-conforming single-family home to be demolished and reconstructed on the same property. I think that I'll start with just a little bit of background. Sheila and Daniel Smith purchased this property in 2014 after their children moved out and they became empty nesters in Milton. They sold a large family home in Milton and moved to this property for this to be their retirement home. They've lived in the house for the past 6 years, and they moved out last spring for this project. They moved out with the expectation that they would be able to get a building permit and tear the house down and rebuild the new house. So for a number of factors, one being that Mr. Duca made a decision for this project to come before this board, and also some delays with the pandemic and all that entails. They've now been out of the house for approximately 6 months, 6 or 7 months. The Smiths are currently living in a condominium in Quincy, which is owned by their son, who now lives in California, and they're going to be staying there until the construction of this home is complete. Most of their furnishings and belongings are in storage. When this project's finished, they're moving back into this house. This is going to be their primary residence, and this is where they'll live. And they also have the house designed with a home office where both of them will be working once the house is finished. Dan Smith is an auditor, works for the state. He'll be working in the house as well, and his wife Sheila is a real estate agent who will also be working in the house, in the office that's on the second floor. The original plan they had for this house is they thought that they would be able to just add a second floor and a new roof to this house, and as it turns out they can't. The condition of the foundation and structure of this one-story house is not adequate to support a full second floor, and so they made the decision to tear the house down and start over from scratch. So what their plan is, they're tearing down an existing one-story cinder block house, and they're going to replace it with a 2.5-story single-family home. And I'd like to put up some data just for you to look at. This is just a comparison of the existing conditions and what's proposed, and it's broken down by where the floor area and living area is in the house, so you understand what's going on. The existing house has an 1,100 square foot basement. The new home will not have a basement. There's two reasons for it. One, obviously the ocean is right across the street, and Dorchester Street and a bit of the front yard is flood zone. But also, this house is at the bottom of a very large hill. And so all of the storm water from everything up Bellevue Road comes down this hill and eventually flows into Dorchester Bay. So there's a very high water table on their property, and their basement is usually wet. There's a sump pump that runs constantly. And when there's really bad storms, the basement gets water. So the new house is going to have a crawl space foundation with no area in the basement. So that they're losing that 1,200 square feet of storage area that they would have with a basement. So on the first floor, the existing house is again 1,180 square feet. The new house has a footprint of 1,737 square feet of living area. That does not include the garage. I broke the garage out separately so you can see that the existing garage is about 400 square feet. The new garage is 462 square feet. It's very similar. This new house is definitely substantially larger than the house that's there now. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why, quite frankly, is because the existing house is a one-story house, right, and they want to put a full second floor on. Mm-hmm. So we have no living area on the second floor of the existing house, 1,421 square feet on the new house. And also on the second floor in the back of the house over the garage is a 301 square foot room, which is a storage room. And that is there to give them storage in the house because they have no storage in the basement. And then they also have an attic room, which is in the eaves of the roof. Yeah. That's up on the third floor of the house. So the total living area for this house is 3,640 square feet. That's living area in the new house. And the total storage in this house is 763 square feet, which is the total of the garage and the storage room, mm-hmm. Which, as you can see, is significantly less than what they have in the existing house. So that is just a comparison of where they are right now. I think I'd also like to show you. So this is the site plan for the project. I twisted this plan the right way before the hearing and saved it so that this wouldn't happen, but here it is. It's facing in the wrong direction, but if you look at the so this is Bellevue right here, Bellevue Road, and obviously Dorchester Street here in front, and you can see the existing house is right along here, yep, up here, and you can see that it's right here. Yep. So the new house does not go any further this way toward Bellevue Road, and it also doesn't go any further this way toward this other side property line. So the new house is the same width from this point right here, where you see 56 feet over to here. It's the same width house. The increase in the size is that really this corner right here is filled in with the new construction, and this corner is also filled in right here. One of the changes that we made to these plans after the initial set that was prepared by the architect is that this is the most non-conforming part of the house right here. Right. The existing garage is only 4.6 feet from the property line, and it's only 5.5 feet here. So what we did with this right here is we
half the garage.
Yeah, I'm just going to put those plans up so you can see that. So this is the garage. This right here, this corner is in the exact same location as the garage that's there right now. It's a little bit, the setback is a little bit better on that side by maybe half a foot, but not a significant change. Right. But the new construction here, this is the new part of the first floor where the master suite is. Yep. This construction has all been brought back so that it's more than 13 feet off the property line in the back. So this new construction in this area here complies with the setback requirement for this property line in back. And you can see and on the second floor also complies with that 13-foot setback. You can
Like
see
half the garage, like almost.
Yes, I'll show you on. So I wish I apologize again that these plans aren't facing the right way, but this is the garage on the Bellevue side.
Yeah.
This is the one-story garage, which is essentially in the same location as the current garage.
Yeah.
The new house is brought back to here, so there's at least 13 feet from the second floor to this lot line.
On the new
You
construction.
can see that right there.
Right.
And then also across the back of the house, this is the garage here sticking out there, and this is the new construction area, which is also, it's back, and it's the minimum 13 feet away from the property line. As you can see, the house has decks on the front facing the street, and obviously to take advantage of the views of the Boston skyline. But this is this view right here is what the house would look like from the Dorchester Street. There are windows on the first floor where the living area is, and the decks are up above on the second floor, and then like a Juliet balcony on the third floor, all facing Boston. So this is the layout of the house. I'll start with the first floor. You've got the garage in the back, washroom, mudroom, your kitchen, dining room, living room, and a master suite and a half bath. That makes up the whole first floor with the garage. On the second floor, this is the storage room in back, which is over the garage. There are 2 bedrooms that face front. The Smiths have adult children. As I said, one of their children, their son lives in California, comes home and visits about 3 times a year for a month each time. So they want him to have his own private bedroom with a private bathroom. So each one of these bedrooms has its own private bath. And in the back of the house is the office, which is the office that the Mr. and Mrs. Smith both plan on using for working at home.
So that's what that half bath's for, the office sort of.
The half bath is so that someone who's up in the office working doesn't have to go downstairs, or doesn't have to go through one of the bedrooms to use the bathroom.
Nice.
So there's a half bath on each floor for people to use on each floor, and then the bedrooms have private bathrooms, 3 private bathrooms for the 3 bedrooms.
Here's my question. I don't know what he's spending for this, $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.3 million. And why does he have that little teeny house on the side?
The little house has been there since the 1960s. It's an accessory dwelling unit that's it's grandfathered, non-conforming. It's a 550 square foot 1-bedroom studio apartment, and it's there, and their intention is they want to keep that. They want to have it available to them. It's a lawful rental unit if they chose to rent it to a tenant, and they'd also like to have it available to them if they want to use it for themselves or for their own guests. So their intention is to keep that.
I thought that was a B&B. Someone told me that's rented until February or something this year.
It has been rented Airbnb in the past. Today, their son from California is in that unit, and he's staying in it until he returns back to California after the holidays. So their son is in the house, right? Is in the accessory unit right now.
And then besides that, though, it is a B&B. And what I hear is people get afraid about this house being turned into one of those, and they're going to be living in there, is what you tell me. And they've lived in that other house 6 years, you said?
They lived in the existing house for 6 years. They only moved out to do this project, and they're moving back into this house. This is their primary residence. They're going to be living.
That's why I'm asking, because you hear these things, people talking, and I just wanted to get it on record what is going on there. And they are going to use it; it's their house, but they do have that little B&B out on the side. Okay.
They do, and this issue came up at the neighborhood meeting with Councilor Harris. They were asked, "Are you living in this house?" And they answered the question that yes, they were. They are living in the house, and they will live in it when it's done. So that's just one second. I had a couple of other things I wanted to point out to you. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. All of the new construction that's proposed on this house, we're maintaining the setback on Bellevue. We're complying with the front yard setback on Dorchester. This project doesn't create any new nonconformances. There are no variances required for this house. All of the construction complies with the city's provision in the ordinance that deals specifically with reconstructing and enlarging non-conforming single-family homes. None of the non-conformances are made worse. None of the setbacks are made worse. There are no new non-conformances, and everything that they're proposing to do complies with what's allowed in the ordinance. It complies with all the dimensional criteria for Residence A for this property.
Yeah, we have a few of those in Howes Neck, and probably half a dozen or so, where garages would turn into little apartments, and then over the years, down in the 50s and 60s, now they're homes. So people end up with two homes in their property, I know.
Yeah, so one final thing that I just wanted to share here is that we did have a neighborhood with Councilor Harris, neighborhood meeting with Councilor Harris. After that meeting, the Smiths walked around to some of their neighbors to ask them, straight up, are you okay with this? Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? And they circulated the petition through the neighborhood with the plans. 28 of their abutters signed this petition in favor of this project. 16 of the 28 abutters are very close to the property, either on Dorchester Street or on Bellevue Avenue. And so there is support in the community for this project. And the Smiths are on this Zoom call. If you have any questions for them, if any specific questions that you want to ask them, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer them for you. And I think that pretty much wraps up my presentation.
Thank you. I know I want to hear from the councilor. Councilor Harris, you're on, correct? Councilor Harris? You should be online here.
So sorry.
All right. Councilor Harris, you there?
Yes, sir.
You have the floor, Councilor.
Yes, sir, Chairman Akins. And again, my role basically was to during this tough time, I was happy to, and the Smiths and the whole community. Can you imagine in September? I think it was September. I know it was September. We met outside, and I'd have to say is really my role is to get the parties together. There's concerns from, of course, the direct abutters, and we met, and everything was laid out. Unfortunately, I had a hard time getting on to this meeting earlier, and so I finally figured out how to do it, get back on it. But I would just say that it really, the judgment of the board is really what I go by, and I understand that it's very difficult difficult situation, and it's a split. When like Mr. Harrington said, I think they have 16 folks that are direct abutters that said they approve of the work that's going to happen. And again, I guess that's this really is in your hands, but everybody has been, as far as I'm concerned, all the parties involved, and the Smiths, we had a great turnout, and and it's a difficult situation, and it's a beautiful piece of property, and I certainly my feeling is I wish that folks would be able to find that medium that they're looking for, but now it's actually in you folks' hands on the zoning board, and that's why you guys get paid the big bucks and not me.
Yeah, no bucks.
But with that, I got to say, I wish I hope that it all works out for everybody, and and if there is some considerations for the direct abutters, hopefully that can happen. But as far as my role, I was able to during this time, which I'm happy that we all got together, and I wish everybody well, and especially during this time, what we're going through. I would, and again, I wish everybody to be safe, and I hope. Unfortunately, these meetings, Chairman Akins, you've seen me at my worst at times. When I'd be yeah, right. But
everything's good.
Yeah, exactly. But we always, it was about what the rules are, and
there's a lot of passion sometimes in meeting people.
Yes, sir.
And that's it. And I get it.
Yes, sir. But you know what? And this time, I just want to end it with saying, I wish the well for everybody during the next few months. We get through it, and through the times, and your decision, you folks' decisions on the zoning board. Obviously, you folks are the experts, and that's why we have you folks. And I just want to wish everybody well, and hope that everybody has a very safe holiday season. And thanks for just letting me speak. And yes, everybody was cooperative, and I wish everybody a good night. Not good night, but I think we still have some more going on tonight. So.
Yes. All right, Counselor, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for hanging in.
Thank you, Chairman.
Is there anyone that wants to speak in favor? Is there anyone who wants to speak in favor for this project? John Rutherford. John, you're up. You're under oath. John?
Unmute yourself, John.
You're all set, John. Go ahead.
Okay, there I go. I wasn't going to speak, but that was such a great speech by Councilor Harris that I felt like I had to join that list and be in favor of the project also. Merry Christmas to everybody. You're lucky to have Councilor Harris represent you in Ward 6. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Have a good holiday. Is there anyone else want to speak in favor? Give us a sign. Wave. *9. Can you give us one of these? I don't know. Wherever, if we can't find it.
There's a wave down there.
Kathy Byrne.
Kathy Byrne. Unmute yourself. You're all set. Kathy?
Yes, here I am.
Okay,
Hi.
you're up.
Mike, you gotta swear in.
Hello.
I swear to tell the truth, the whole Kathy, stop.
Please
Are
go
you
ahead.
willing to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to say, okay, to go. But I've known Sheila since kindergarten, and we grew up together, and you could be better neighbors growing up than the Cherries, they were Cherries and now Smiths, but great neighbors, and great neighbors here too. And that location is so beautiful. I can't imagine anyone not using that for, okay. Anyways, that's it.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else like to speak in favor? Second call. Third call.
Thank you.
Part of the hearing closed. Anything from the DPW?
No comments.
No comments on the DPW. Now, is Maggie Sweeney, is that you? Okay, I have a letter here from you, which I'm not going to put in because you're here to speak. So I'm going to put this letter aside. Anyone opposed or undecided? Ms. Sweeney, you're up.
I do. I am opposed to the property.
Hello.
Gonna
You
swear.
swear Miss Sweeney, you
Yes.
swear the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
You know, I do.
Thank
I do.
Name and address, please.
My name is Margie Sweeney, and I reside at number 9 Bellevue Road with my husband, Steve.
You have the floor, Ms. Sweeney.
Okay. We've lived at this property for the past 43 years. I have several concerns with this project, which abuts my property. I do know I'm going to be repeating myself because I know a lot what Mr. Harrington said, but I feel it's important enough that it needs to be said again. The property is a corner lot with 1,252 square feet, and it has 2 houses on the property. The main house, number 111, which is in question, currently has the 1,080 square feet living space, and according to the plan submitted, will be placed with approximately 4,400 square feet of living space. And the structure will consist of 2.5-story dwelling with a mudroom, living room, kitchen, dining room, 3 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a laundry room, a sitting room, an office, a finished bonus room on the 3rd floor, 2nd floor screen deck, 3rd floor deck, 2 garage, and 7 means of egress, which is totally out of the character for this neighborhood, in my opinion. Number 1, we're asking the board to consider requesting the structure to be altered to fall more in line with the existing houses in the neighborhood. I reference regulation 3.4.3, non-conforming structures, which states the reconstruction shall not be substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure to the neighborhood. Number 2, on the left side of the property, which abuts our property, currently there's a 2-car garage with the 4.6 foot setback. According to the letter that was submitted, the setback will be improved to 5.5 feet in remaining a 1-story garage. However, the letter goes on and states that the new extension on the left side is pulled back to 13 feet minimum setback, and the proposed 2nd floor is also pulled back to the 13 feet minimum setback. We are requesting or asking for the board to consider having the complete left side be 13 feet setback off our property. 3rd, we have listened to several prior ZBA meetings, and at times it was mentioned that the direct butters to projects have a right to sun. We are asking that given the height and size of the proposal and the close proximity to our property, we are asking the applicant to pay for an independent shade study to analyze the impact of the project on our property. Well, I know when I brought it out at the neighborhood meeting, Mr. Harrington informed me that that is a West Coast study. It's not normally, it's not done on the East Coast. Well, I think it's time maybe it should be done on the East Coast. I'm hearing, again, I've listened to several meetings, and there's more and more. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
There's more and more structures in Quincy going up that are the 2.5 stories, which is changing the landscape of the different neighborhoods within the city of Quincy. Finally, as I stated earlier, there's 2 houses that exist on the property. And we know that this board has no jurisdiction over the registered Airbnb property. But we want to mention for the record that the second piece of property listed as 107 Dorchester Street is an active registered Airbnb since 2018. And because of the size of the new structure and the layout of the property, we are convinced that this new piece of property is also a potential Airbnb, and our neighborhood would be forever changed. And they stated that their son is living there. I'm sure he could very possibly be. I don't know who lives there. That's the problem with Airbnbs. We don't know who's in our neighborhood. I do know September, October, they were active every weekend. Someone different was living in that piece of property. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else opposed or undecided? Anyone opposed or undecided? Second call. I have a letter here I want to read in that was sent in from Barbara Joyceland, Tuesday, 12/15, 2:53 p.m. to Noreen Murphy, our clerk. I'd like to go on record expressing my concerns, references for the expansion of the structure at 111 Dorchester Street. One, I am against the expansion if it is to convert a single-family residence into a commercial enterprise such as an Airbnb. This is a quiet residential area where homeowners live in their homes and invested in keeping the area a pleasant place to live. Renting to short-term tenants has the potential to create a number of issues, noise, parking, environmental damage. For example, tenants renting this property were seen hitting golf balls from the front lawn across Dorchester into the ocean, which endangers traffic on Dorchester Street as well as people and pets walking or swimming. Barbara Joyceland, I don't have an address here. We could look that up if we could, Madam Clerk.
Absolutely.
We'll put that in the record. Last call, anyone opposed or undecided? All that part of the hearing closed. A few things I want to say. Their garage was always there, so they have a right to put the garage back. They're on the same footprint except for a couple feet as they're squaring off the building. Is it a big building? Yeah, it is. Do they have a big giant lot? Yes, they do. They have 11,000 something square feet. Do they have an Airbnb on the property? Everyone says yes. I believe them. And that the city council's dealing with. Who's going to have an Airbnb? How they're going to register them? When they're going to register them? How many they're going to have? That's not our forte at this meeting. I wish sort of it was, because it has to be done pretty soon. I think it's everyone's taking advantage of renting out space and rooms and having people over and committee. Yeah, it's in committee, and it's just it's something that the city's dealing with and has to deal with. But I'll be voting in favor because they're building a building here almost on the same footprint. They brought back on top of the garage. They brought back their setbacks the way they should be. So they're not asking for a variance on any setbacks. Everything else is existing. And they're just building themselves a beautiful home and a beautiful lot. So I can't say, I just like to know why someone would spend $1.4 million and still have a rental property there. I know if I had $1.4 million house, I probably wouldn't want a little rental house beside me. I would want to enjoy that whole lot myself, but that's me.
Damon, can I just ask a question just for clarification and for the record?
Sure.
Just because I still can't wrap my head around it.
Yep.
So when we take down a building.
Yep. But they're getting it built on the same footprint.
I get that, but I just want it for clarification purposes. So if I have 2 homes in Res A, and I take one down, and I put another one up now, I can still have 2 homes on that same lot. Like we don't have to go back to a conforming use, correct?
Right, you're just using the foundation lines that you had is what he's keeping in line with.
Yeah, no, I guess for me sitting on the floor.
I understand what you're saying. You know, it's like you don't rip down a house and then 3 years later go put one back up because now you can't.
Well, no, I get that, but I get more like, you know, we have Res A for a reason. We have Res A to be single-family dwellings.
Right.
You know,
And
we have an existing non-conforming use that's now coming down to one dwelling, but we're allowing a second dwelling to be put back. It kind of changes
I just don't understand
But they're not ripping it down. They're remodeling their houses, what they really are doing. They're putting that same footprint back. Mr. Duca here. Mr. Duca, go ahead. He wants to speak on this.
Hey, Mr. Rayo. So the important thing to remember is that findings allow for reconstruction, alteration, extension, change of use. That's what findings are all about for pre-existing non-conforming structures. Our ordinance allows, in part of one of the things it allows is for reconstruction. But you need to have finding in place prior to the demolition.
And by finding, we're just saying it's not substantially more detrimental.
That's what the finding, that's the threshold for the finding, not substantially more detrimental. Correct.
And there's no definition around substantially more detrimental, correct?
Well, things that you take into account are you increasing the number of parking for vehicles, and things like bulk and structure. Does it fit the character of the neighborhood? Does the lot size support it? This house may not, you may not make a finding for this size house on a 5,000 square foot lot. Right. So these are things all that you guys can take into consideration when you determine whether or not this is substantially more detrimental or not. But reconstruction is definitely part of the reason that findings are allowed to be made for alteration, reconstruction, and things of that nature.
So say he's going out, say he's going another 15 feet out to the right. Then you go, that is more detrimental maybe. It's just way too big. This is almost exact same footprint. It's not like they're asking you to, and they're putting on a second floor in their house, which they have a right to put on a second floor.
100%.
Yeah. So could they do this wall by wall? They could do it that way too.
I guess I just struggle with that.
Go up 2 stories. Right.
I guess I just struggle. Like at times we look at this as two independent, kind of looking at it as two dwelling units on one piece of property. Yet we're giving them both the ability to use the same square footage. So we're saying like there's two independent dwelling units here on an 11,200 square foot lot, and they're both entitled.
No, they want to take. Right, I know what you're saying. They want to take that other house. You do that. You go, wait a minute. No, that's more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Well, if I looked at it, I mean, even on the GIS website for the city, this GIS website maybe doesn't have the lot completely delineated, but there's a dotted line right down the middle. So if you look at it, and then I said, okay, well, if that's the case, both lots are 5,600 square feet. So now essentially I'm building a massive house, which we just had the same conversation on Vassal. I'm building a massive house on a 5,600 square foot lot. We just had the same conversation.
They're not, because those two lots are made in common.
But that's only because we haven't separated the lots. There's two separate dwelling units on one single lot.
But Ryan, there's a lot of those in Quincy. People took their garages and made homes out of them, and no one stopped them in those days. They let them do it because it was a neighbor, and you said, yeah, go ahead. And they did it in the 50s and 60s and 70s. I know them down. We must have about 10 of them. And it's like bizarre. Their front doors are almost touching each building. You got like 4 feet between them. I'm going, no one said nothing. You think someone in the neighborhood would have said, listen, you're not doing that. You're not doing your garage over and having a rental because my house is going to be worth less money because now there's another house in the way.
I guess I'm just hung up. Like we just said on Vassal, like we have the opportunity. It's new construction to make this a more conforming, better use for the neighborhood. And we're sitting here making a less conforming use.
Because we're giving him variances and stuff, and he don't need a variance for this property. He needs a finding because he has all the setbacks from the house that was there. And it's just reconstruction. It's completely different product. I know what you're saying.
No, I get it. I mean, I get it. I'm just looking like
I know.
Had the lot actually been split like it should have, because you have to, it should have.
Right.
Then you'd be in the same situation as Vassal. I'm just taking I'm taking a lot of what ifs into consideration.
Right. No question.
I can't look at them independently. I'm just struggling to look at them independently.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying, and it's something they have a right to reconstruct.
I get it.
And it is 11,000 square foot thing. What I think the problem goes back to is in the 70s, no one said anything. They took those garages and made them small homes, and then they made them big homes, like in House Neck. There's a lot of them if you look around. My buddy owns one, and another buddy of mine owns another one on Darrell Street. There's a few of them there. Chris, you want to just say something real quick? Wrap it up.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out, I understand what Mr. Riddell is saying.
Yep.
But I think it's important to note that the second house isn't a house. It's a 500 square foot studio apartment, and it's accessory to the main house.
And what
so we don't really have a situation of having two equal size separate houses on the same lot. It's a very small
That's not what I'm saying at all, Chris. That's not
He's
what
not
I'm saying.
saying that. What he's saying is two properties on one. Now, what if the guy there wants to take that house and put another story on it and build it up and make it bigger? That's more detrimental to the neighborhood because it don't fit. You're right. That's where
I agree, and I think if that came to pass in a future application,
would never
probably would find that it's more detrimental and probably deny it.
Well, hopefully I won't be sitting here, Chris, then.
Any other? That's my. Mr. Cabeas, would you like to make a comment or anything?
Well, no, I don't actually. I'll be voting in favor.
Mr. Chin?
I understand the concern, Brian, and it's an interesting dilemma.
Yeah, it is.
But given the fact that it is allowed, I'm in favor because they have stayed substantially, if not exactly, within that footprint of the house that's existing now. They are going to improve that. I'm familiar with the property, very familiar with the property. I've been inside before the Smiths purchased it, and it floods pretty badly. So whatever they can do to alleviate that, I think it's going to be helpful. I think that they have the right to do what they want to do. It's going to be an improvement to the house that's there, and it's very much within the confines of the current footprint. So I'm in favor.
Mr. Radell.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wrap my head around it. I can't. I can't separate it. I understand exactly what they're doing. I just can't separate the two. We've had this a number of times at this board where we have, and I even had it with the former mayor. I remember he had one where he had two dwelling units on a single piece of property, and he was resident. And I had the same objection then that I kind of have today. It's like we just had this conversation, and I get it. It's finding it's a different situation. I just think that that's substantially more detrimental when we can make a more conforming use. That's just my own opinion, and I get it.
And I feel the same way. There should not be two houses on one lot. You're right. But on that other one, what it was is he had a two-family. He had a one little corner that was Res B, the little 100 square foot in the corner. And he wanted to put another two-family up. That was the difference. No, you can use that as a single family when you split that.
I'll go to Mr. Hemmel. I'll come back to me.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay,
the Airbnb, I think the Airbnb part is concerning. I've got one in my neighborhood. It's a mess. But having said that, that's not on our plate tonight. It is substantially on the original footprint. They are asking for a finding. Marty's right. We've got, these little cottages that used to be garages or gazebos all over House Neck. I'll be voting in favor.
Mr. Radell, I'm back to you.
My vote won't matter, but I'm going to stay opposed because I just don't understand it.
Okay. Could I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The matter numbers 20-65, Sheila Smith for a finding to reconstruct and extend the existing non-conforming single-family residence on the premises number 107 to 111 Dorchester Street. I make a motion to grant the relief requested.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, could I have a roll call, Madam Chair?
Yes. Martin Akins?
Yes.
Mike Coveas?
Yes.
Russell Chin?
Yes.
Brian Riddell?
No.
John Himmel?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, pass 4-1. Further on tonight's business, ZBA 2075. Min Han and Fong Tran for variance to extend the driveway on the premise number 80 Ren Terrace. Is the applicant or their representative here? Unmute yourself, please. Mr. Ren? Ren Terrace? Who's here? Who's speaking? Someone? Applicant? Mr. Hune?
Minahan and Fong Tran.
Minahan? H-U-N-Y-H-U-Y-N-H. Should ask Mr. Shin how you say that. Anyone here? All right, we'll get back to it. Someone's got to unmute themselves. CBA case 2076. Bonnie Chan for variance to construct a 2.5-story, 2-unit townhouse in the premise number 44 property. The applicant here?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Cabeas, could you please swear in the...
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
You have the floor. Name and address for the record, please.
Bonnie Tian on behalf of JCBT Architect, representing the client on 44 Prospect Hill Street. May I share the screen?
Yeah. Turn the volume down just a little bit. It's kind of cracking. It's so loud.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Currently, this parcel is a separate parcel. The owner of this property also owns the property in behind on Smith Street.
Yep.
And neighbors are treating this property as a dog park.
Yep.
So the client's looking to upgrade it, improve it, and build a 2-unit townhouses. So,
these for rentals, or are they going to be
for sale?
For sale, okay.
Yes. Currently, let me show the map.
Oh yeah, this is the one with the parking.
Yeah, this is the vacant lot, and there is similar 6-unit townhouses right across from it.
On 5,000 square feet?
5,000 square feet lot, yes. And with a 9 feet side yard setback on this side and a 10 on the left side, with 4 parking spaces in the front. And each unit is a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, 2.5 story with unfinished basement.
3.5 baths?
2.5 bath.
2.5 baths, 3 bedroom?
3 bed, yep.
Unit.
Yep. It's about 1,560 square feet per unit. And the sidings will be vinyl and a deck in the rear.
Are they putting vinyl siding on?
Possibly, we show vinyl, but might be hardy.
Hardy plank? Vinyl's like 270. What you use in the texture? I'm just looking at this parking in the. I mean, it's like taking the whole front yard. So you need to. What do we need here for variances for parking too?
The parking is set in 10 feet setback.
Yeah, but you're taking the whole front of your property, correct?
Yes, yes.
Anything going in the backyard at all?
Nope. It'll be just the deck in the rear and the rest will be open space.
I just gotta finish reading it. I know I went and looked at it, and I just didn't like the pot, but I mean, what else do you do with those? I don't know. 3 storage. Any questions from the board? You can take that down if you want to, please.
Okay, thank you.
I have no questions yet.
Questions right now? Mr. Chin, any questions?
Backyard size is about, what, 25 by 50? Is that right? Backyard green space? How big is that? I may be reading it wrong.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's a little less than 25, 50.
That's just because of the deck, right? There's 26 on this one. There's 26. Where you got the 32.5 to the back of the house and the deck. All right. All right. Anything else, Mr. Tim?
Oh, that's all.
All right. Mr. Raydell?
I have nothing at this time.
Mr. Himmel?
Thing at this time.
Okay, let's see what we got here from us. I got a few questions about it. Is there anyone want to speak in favor? Anyone speak in favor?
John Rutherford.
John Rutherford.
How you doing again? John Rutherford, 62 Grand Wall Road. I like this. This is consistent with most of the variances that I've seen granted. This is good new growth. This is doubling the amount of revenue, even more than doubling. We're going to be able to collect from that parcel, be able to get rid of old housing and get some new housing that's conforming to new heating standards and new environmental standards. So I'm in favor of this project. And, you know, I also want to make it a point saying that without all the new growth that we have in the city right now, we need some of these variances. The zoning board, you guys have saved the taxpayers of Quincy over $500 to $1,000 per household. If we didn't have those zoning variances granted without that new growth, then taxes would be much higher for everybody. So I want to thank everybody on the zoning board for doing such a great job. I've been watching you carefully. I'm here every meeting, and you know, I think Quincy's going in the right direction and we're growing. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thanks, and you too.
Good job, Marty.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in favor? Tony. Mr. Vase?
Mr. Ying?
Mr. Ying?
Are they there?
No, there's nobody unmuted yet.
Mute them so they got unmute them.
You gotta unmute yourself.
You go with Mr. Azure if we need to.
Mr. Haja?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Nod your head yes. Or unmute yourself.
Speaking to you, take an oath, Mr. Haja?
Yeah, he's got
Swear
it.
to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
You have the floor.
Good evening, Mr. Akins and fellow members of the zoning board and other members of the zoning board. I wish to speak partially in favor. I own the 6 units with my partner at 45 Prospect Hill Streets, which is similar units to what's proposed here. I'd just like to say that I think maybe 2 units is too much. Parking is tight, and the owner of this project has been nothing but a nuisance. She's a nice woman, but she frankly has allowed her tenants to run roughshod over the property. There have been tires stored there, all kinds of car parts. I've pled with her for years to kindly to get after her tenants, and she always throws her hands up and says she can't do anything. And I tell her, just look, you're the landlord.
Yep.
take control of the situation, get a container, get rid of the junk, and put up a fence. Good fences make good neighbors. All my tenants, all in each of the 6 units, have complained ever since a couple of those tenants have moved into the property on Smith Street.
Yeah.
And she refuses to do anything. She just doesn't want to spend the money to put up a simple fence. And Ms. Tan mentioned that it was used as a dog park. Well, yes, I assume that there's some people walking over there with their dogs, but it pales in comparison to the junk that's been left on this lot. It really looks horrible. I know Service has been down there many times. I've called them many times on behalf of my tenants. My tenants have called, and yet Miss Huang, I believe is her name, the owner of the property, just refuses to do anything about it. And I talked to her nicely, and then I get upset with her. I said, please, just put a fence up, and that will solve the situation. So I think 2 units would be too much. I think 1 would be sufficient, but I would like to see it because I think it would eliminate the opportunity for whoever's living in the remaining 3-family on Smith Street for access and to create and to make a mess.
Right. Well, I know we're cleaning it up, but it's hard to give someone some good relief that they want when they're not taking care of the neighborhood either.
Right, exactly. And secondly, as importantly to me, I constructed the driveway leading down to Prospect Hill Street. And I told her, I said, look, I'd like to support your application. However, I need an agreement in place with you. You want to have your lawyer contact me. And again, I get nothing back from her. I said, look, you got to split the cost of snow plowing, of maintaining the asphalt when, the time comes to, seal the cracks or potholes or repave, whatever that may be. A simple agreement is all I need, but I've never gotten anything from her.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know. That's good to know, then.
It's a slum there right now. The property on Smith Street, the tenants, lowest caliber of tenant, and the yard is a mess. I could never own a property like that, and I couldn't sleep knowing that my property was in such a state of disrepair.
Yeah, I know. I drove around down there. Yeah.
For neighbors, which
You
he's
can
done.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hadger.
We'll try Kunying again.
Chen?
Well, Kunying has had that hand up for a while, yeah.
Who?
The person that we couldn't
All
get
right.
the first
We
time.
can't get him now.
Kunying? You there? Can you unmute yourself? Kunying?
Some of them are left.
Unmute.
Probably walked away.
Oh, he can hear. He just,
Hello?
Got it.
Hello. You there?
No, I'm here, yeah.
All right, hold on 1 second.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Are you going to tell us the truth about everything?
Mr. Yang, yes or no? Raise your hand and just say yes or no. He's asking
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I know, we're calling on you. The guy's talking to you. All right, you have the floor, sir.
Kumba.
Hey.
Hi, yeah, Kunying.
Well,
I just want to say a favor.
That's what I'm giving you the floor. You have the floor, sir.
I'm going to say he's in favor. That's all. Good.
Say favor. Because my English no good. I just want to say favor for this case.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Chen?
Hold on 1 second. I can get to them. Okay, they should be good.
Should be good. Mr. Cabeas?
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
I just wanted to respond to the comments made by Mr. Hajar, a few things. So the first comment about him, saying that we haven't done anything with regards to the trash in our backyard. We've been working with him the greater part of this year, and we have given multiple notices to our tenants, including eviction notices and the like. Most of the garbage that's been in the lot has been removed. We've also hired moving companies. And so we have done no small effort in constantly, working with our tenants to move the trash. Unfortunately, in the last few months, our tenant has gotten very, very sick. She's on the brink of dying. So all of her children have been there to kind of help her through this hard time. And it's been very hard for us to be able to negotiate further or to push the eviction even further. So, you know, there's truly only so much we can do. And we have been working with him nonstop.
When you're throwing stuff in the property, don't you tell them to don't do that?
Yeah, so we've removed, you know, most of the things on that lot already. What he mentioned was there months ago, and it's no longer there. The tires, the car parts, they've all been moved. So, and what he's talking about with some of the trash being left out, there was one incident where one of our tenants had to go away on a trip, so she put her trash out early. And, you know, we talked to all of the neighbors, all the surrounding folks, and they're very in favor, and they kind of corroborate our story. So I think, you know, from a neighbor perspective and from a tenant perspective, we have been very, very involved in that process. The second piece, though, around it, the second piece is around fencing, what he was talking about. And given that we're putting up, you know, thinking about building a new property there, putting in a permanent fencing situation doesn't make sense. It's not necessary. We have proposed putting up a wire fence in the meantime. And Mr. Hajar has said that he's not okay with that situation. We have we've purchased the fencing. We were ready to put it up. We had contractors, the whole 9 yards. And, you know, he was only happy with a solution where we put up a quasi-permanent wooden fence, which would not have made any sense given the fact that we're building a new property, right? And then I guess finally the pieces, once we put up the new land, you know, we're planning to sell, you know, so he's no longer going to have to deal with, you know, the tenants or their trash in the current state, and we'll work with whoever the next buyer is to figure out that tenant situation. And so, you know, we think it'll actually be much better for him, for his tenants, for that whole area. And then finally, with the snow plowing, we're happy to share based on the number of residents, but you know, allocate it somehow by the number of units. So we're open to that discussion.
1,550 feet. Mr. Hodge, I'll let you speak in a minute. We have other people that have a right to speak before you get a second turn. Bonnie, Bonnie, go ahead.
I want to update that we have 10 letters in favor from neighbors along Smith Street, Prospect Hill Street, and Copeland Street and Arthur Street. I have sent it to the counselor, Brian Pomochi.
Send them to me.
Okay.
Yeah, send them to Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Now, this house is 35 by 32 roughly, right? 35 by 32. Yeah. And the full parking in front. All right. Mr. Hadjad, go ahead. I'll give you a second time. Go ahead. You're up. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go. You're up.
Thank you. The applicant basically admitted that most of the trash has been removed, but not all of it.
Yep.
Now, I own the property, but I don't live there. My 6 tenants are livid, and I get calls all the time. And I've asked the owner, Christine, I believe, I'm not sure exactly the name, but Miss Huang, I believe, the mother of the woman who was just speaking. Please just show some concern for my tenants. Would you like to live in that situation? My property is professionally landscaped. I did beautiful plantings, beautiful stonework, and then you have to look at basically a junkyard in that parking lot. And those tenants, and you know, she didn't want to put a fence up. I never objected to any fence, just something to block the access from the tenants on Smith Street who were racing up and down the driveway that I built, blocking tenants in their spaces. It's been nothing but a nuisance. And I understand if it's sold, that there'll no longer be access for those tenants, and that's why I'm in favor. But if the zoning allows for 1 unit as of right, that's what it should be, no more. It will be too crowded, and there won't be enough parking, and it'll detract from the value of my units, which, as I said, built in 2006, professionally done, professionally landscaped consistently. It was a huge improvement to the neighborhood when I put those units up. And ever since the applicant has owned that property on Smith Street, they brought all the problems from Smith Street to Prospect Hill Street, not policed their tenants, have not, irregardless of the health of whoever's living in the apartment in Smith Street.
Yeah.
They could go and they could take care of their property, and they should have. So that tells me that when they build this, if they're gonna build it like they manage their property, it will not be done right. If the zoning allows for 1 unit as of right, that's what it should be.
Well, it's not. It's zone residence fee, so they can have 2 units on that property.
But it doesn't meet the setbacks, I believe, for 2 units. Is that correct?
Right. Well, that's what they'd have to do. But to meet the setbacks, they gotta shrink the building a little bit, a couple feet, probably 4 feet or something like that. 10, 12. We get them down to 12.
But there'll be no landscaping. It'll be just four parking spots that my tenants are looking at. It's an improvement over looking at junk.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we should be able to look at some green space, and if the setback is met, then it'd be nice to fill the space with the other with professional landscape.
Yeah, I don't like the idea personally of the whole front of the building just like on top. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else want to speak in favor? Last call. All that part of hearing closed. Anything from the?
I have no comments. Nothing strange, isn't it?
Yeah, something got missed somewhere.
Somebody didn't give me something.
Someone forgot that. Yeah. All right. Is there anyone opposed or undecided? Anyone opposed or undecided? First call. Raise your hand. A flag. Second call. Anybody? Third call? All that part of the hearing closed. I just think we can do better than, I don't know, guys. I just think we can do better than what's there. I don't know. Just taking that whole front of the building and tarring the whole thing. And you're looking at a building here, and you're right. It should be green space out front, maybe even parking in the rear or something. You said these are going to be condos? Condominiums?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be a townhouse.
Yeah.
For sale.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 3rd floor, right. Half the 3rd floor there. I don't like the parking. I don't like it at all. I don't like the front of the building. That's my 2 cents. We got to come up with something better on it. And it's, what do you got, 5,000 square feet here, so you're not working with a ton of space for 2 units, but.
It would actually
Mr. Radel, you have something to say, or who was just talking? Mr. Radel? Yeah, go ahead.
He would actually be better served what they were just trying to do on Vassal, like pushing it to the side, using this rear parking, because you're right. You get rid of a nuisance, but you're looking across the street at cars. Like, to Mr. Hajar's tenant's point, if they're getting complaints about an empty lot, like just seeing cars out front of a house. I hate parking in front of a house. I'd love to see back if they can figure out how to do it.
Right. Maybe shrink the house a couple feet and move it over so you can just shoot down one and park in the back.
Park in the back,
Yeah.
I just think it would be more conducive for everyone,
Well, the looks too. You're right, Mr. Radel. And put some green space out there. Maybe, what we're hearing here, maybe we need a plan on the landscaping too and what they're going to put there. And I'll tell you right now that I'm not a vinyl guy unless you're putting shakes on there, vinyl shakes. Vinyl just, on a brand new home, don't make it. But I know I don't want to see it on there.
I'd also just for, I understand having a difficult tenant. I'd love,
I know.
I didn't get by this property this week. I'd love to make sure I drive by in the next couple of weeks and see it up a little bit, especially considering the winter. You know how it's going to be. You get a lot of stuff, and we get 15 inches of snow tomorrow. nothing's going to leave the yard until the spring, you know? So I think if we can do anything in the next, 24, 48 hours to just get whatever else is out of there, at least put it in the back of Smith Street or something, just to help the neighbor across the street here.
Yep. Mr. Cabeas, any ideas on this property? Like it, don't like it?
There's just not enough parking here for 3 bedrooms. I mean, I couldn't approve of something with 3 bedrooms, there right now. So if this is the only plan, I'm probably voting no.
Yeah, maybe a couple bedrooms each. Shrink the house down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's only 5,000 square feet. You're right.
The streets are so narrow there.
Yeah.
As it is right now, if you have a car or bedroom, now you're already two spaces short.
Yep.
So it's not working.
No, no.
So that's where I am.
So what are you looking at? 2 bedrooms and shrink the house a little?
I would like that.
Yeah. Mr. Chin, any ideas and recommendations?
I agree with the board. I think a smaller house, hardy plank siding instead of vinyl.
Yeah.
Parking in the rear to hide the cars. There's no garage being designed into the structure for some reason.
Right.
And landscape the front so it looks nice.
Yep.
Be mindful of the neighborhood.
Very good. Mr. Himmel.
Agreed. Shrink the project down. I mean, there's nothing worse than 4 cars parked out front and 3 bedrooms each. I mean, that is too tight of a neighborhood. Where's the visitor going to park? You can't put them anywhere. It's just too much.
No, it is. So we'd like to see 2 bedrooms. Shrink the house down, have it the driveway, put it in the back, and a landscape plan, correct?
Sounds good.
Do you want your hardy plank?
Yes. Yeah, most definitely. And what would you, what's a date that would work out for you, understand? Like, we can do February 9th or something? How's that? Is it the 9th?
It's, 1 moment. February 9th or, yeah.
February 9th? Does that work?
Is it possible? I have a question. Is it possible if we put a garage on the ground level instead of parking in the rear, or either option work?
You mean make it a 2-story building and then put the
It
bottom?
would be 3-story, similar to the one across the street. It would be 3-story with the
first floor
garage. Just exactly the same as the 6-unit across.
But that gives you 4 spaces. You're going to be able to get 4 spaces in 32 feet. I don't know. Not even 32. You're going to have it. It's going to be small.
A tandem parking. Might be a tandem, or maybe 1 parking space indoor and 1 being outside on the side.
Well, you could put 2. If you got a basement there, you could put 2 on each side, right? Underneath.
Yep.
30 something feet long, right? 35. So that's 36 gives you that space. 36 foot back.
Tandem parking under a garage, you're going to end up with 1 car in and 1 car out. It's just
yes.
The same situation.
No, you're not. You can put tandem parking underneath too.
Yeah, how many times are you going to get up in the middle of the day to move the car so that the car in front of you? It's the same thing.
I'm not saying you're going to have 1 out, but not 2 out, not 4 out in front of your house.
Sure, it's a little better. It's a little bit of an improvement. I mean, I think it'll sell better. Probably fits better with the properties across the street mirroring it.
Yeah, and then you'd have 1 out, 1 in, and if you do singles, tandem, then you're not having 4 cars out there. You only got a smaller footprint. It's only going to be like whatever you get. You could get 20 foot wide, 24 feet, so you can only put 2 cars out front. So you're stopping them from putting 4 cars out in front anyway. You hear what I'm saying, Brian?
Yeah. I'm just trying to.
Or do you want garage with parking in the back? Put the garages there, and then also parking in the back. Now you'd have 6 spots each, 4 each. You have 2 each in the back and 2 each end of the house.
Not a terrible idea either.
Huh?
I said not a bad idea either. Yeah, I mean, you got options. I think we're open to anything as long as it's, less bedrooms. Try and find us some green space. Try and take care of your neighbor across the way. and maybe
Yep.
we can go to him and figure out what he needs for
So I asked Ms. Tan, you understand what we're looking at? We're looking at like, if you wanted to do tandem parking under each one, you could make it 36 foot long, the house, bring it down to 24 wide. Then you can have parking in the back with your parking spaces and 2 spots underneath. So you'd have plenty of parking for guests too. There's no place to park over there, you know? And that way you'd get your 2 units and you'd have your parking. So, and come up with some sort of landscape plan for the property too, okay?
Okay, thank
We
you.
have a motion for February 9th, please.
Chairman, in matter number 20-76, Bonnie Tan for a variance to construct a 2.5-story, 2-unit townhouse on the premises number 44 Prospect Hill Street. Make a motion to continue the hearing until February 9th.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, can I have a roll call, Ms. Clerk?
Martin Akins?
Yes.
Mike Cabeas?
Yes.
Russell Chin?
Yes.
Brian Riddell?
Yes.
John Himmel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
24.
I would like to speak on Red Terrace, Loretta DeGrazia.
Hello? Hello? We're looking for Ren Terrace.
Kathleen.
Wade, are you on?
Is Loretta gonna speak?
Ren Terrace, is there anyone here for Ren Terrace?
In favor, against, is she the applicant, what is she?
Loretta, are you the applicant?
No.
No.
Can you ask Kathleen, please?
Kathleen, is someone else? Is someone here? This is going to be our last call. I already called it once.
Yes, I'm Kathleen. Hi, how are you?
Are you, okay, you're the applicant?
No, I'm not the applicant. I'm just a participant.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, we have to find out, is there anyone here for Ren Terrace? I'll tell you what, let's make a motion and put this off to February 23rd. Next time they'll answer. And if somehow we get in touch with them and put February 23rd. We're gonna move that to February 23rd. Mr. Cabeas, if I could have a motion, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in matter number 20-75, Ming Hoon and Fong Tran for a variance to extend the driveway on the premises of 80 Red Terrace. Make a motion to continue the hearing until February 23rd.
On the motion, seeing none, Madam Clerk, we take a roll vote.
Yes. Martin Akins?
Yes.
Mike Cabeas?
Yes.
Russell Chin?
Yes.
Brian Riddell? Yes. John Himmel?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna make a motion to finish this up, but I just want to thank you people, and you're here for Ren Terrace. It's gonna be February 23rd. So put that in your calendar, you won't get notified again. It will be on the calendar and the city calendar. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey,
Opposed? Yep.
board members, we won't be having a Christmas party, but I want to wish everyone happy holiday, Merry
Yes,
Christmas,
Merry
and
Christmas,
New Year.
Thank you,
Thank
Jay.
you.
Can you guys stay on 1 second?
Sure.
1 second for me.
Merry Christmas,
Hold on.
guys.
Merry Christmas.